on scene, and I'll never forget that night. I was set to have dinner with my wife, something romantic, something decent. We haven't been on in a while, you know, but I got my pager went off and I got the call from the office. It seemed like there was a homicide in Zephyr Hills, Florida. So I went. I was the first one on scene, like I'd said, and it was a small, a slightly small mobile home off a long road. I believe it was called Range Drive. Once on scene, I entered the residence and was completely overwhelmed by the obvious stench of death. It was, the home itself was in complete disarray. Very unkept. Well unkept, as a matter of fact. I ascertained that there was no one on property at the time. The living room looked ransacked, but then again, it could have been the way they lived. I wasn't sure. Quite dusty. There were multiple cobwebs in the upper rafters and the ceiling area. As I slowly made my way down the hallway, investigating every room as I went, I continued to come across a very grotesque scene, and it only got worse the further I went back into the residence. For instance, I would notice, obviously, a major blood spatter on the walls leading back towards the back bedrooms. And then I started noticing the body parts. A finger here, half of a foot. As I entered the bathroom area, I noticed that there was protruding out of the toilet in a very grotesque manner, half of a severed arm from the elbow to the hand. I realized that it was that of a very young person. I continued to make my way back, hearing slowly the sound of what I figured must have been a music box, which was extremely eerie because it was quite windy outside at the time, and it just seemed to blend in with what was playing on the box. My weapon was ready. I was ready to discharge at any time. I finally made my way back into what I believed was a child's bedroom, and that is where the scene became the most disturbing. I strangely thought I heard a girl's voice, and I called, "Is anyone there? Please show yourself. This is the police." But nothing. Nobody came. There were no footsteps. Under the blanket of a small, what I perceived as a bed, is where I found more body parts. It seemed as though this person, this girl, had been mutilated beyond anything that a normal human could do. It was absolutely disturbing. It was evil. But there was a picture of her on her nightstand. Her name was Sherry, and she was just what I gathered as a cute little 8-year-old girl, maybe. Blonde hair with pigtails, big blue eyes, and I remember the blue eyes because that is one of my first things that I spotted walking into the living room was a blue eye impaled upon a candlestick in the living room. As I surveyed further, I realized that there was no hope for this individual. I also ascertained by the writing on the wall, which seemed to be in the female's own blood. It was written, and I quote, "She tastes like chicken," which is the most bizarre thing because we never found half her body. I've never been right ever since.